I was sitting in the office and I got a phone call from the general who was in charge of our division that was out of Fairchild. And he said, "Clyde, you get that envelope yet?" And I said, "No, I haven't got any envelope." And he said, "I sent you an envelope and you should have it by now." I said, "Sir, I'm sorry, I don't have any letter from you." He called about every 15 minutes. "Did you get my envelope?" I said, "No, I haven't got it yet." So that kept going on. And finally, the vice commander down the street away from me called. He said, "What in the world is going on? The general keeps saying he's trying to send you an envelope and you claim you don't have it." And so we were sitting down there and the General Kingsbury, well, Kingsbury said, "We got to get this thing announced. What I want to tell you, tell the secretary to come in and I'll dictate the letter to her and then you'll find out." So we called the lady in and she told me, she said, "By the way, there's a man out in the office waiting for you that wanted to see you. He has an envelope for you, but I tell him that you're too busy to." I don't remember, Ned Thomas was the editor of the newspaper. He's kind of a gruff old boy, and I called Ned. I said, "I got something pretty important for you." And I said, "You might want to hold up the paper," because I knew they put the thing to bed about 1 o'clock. "Now," I said, "I don't think we got time to wait." And I said, "Well, Ned, it's pretty important." They said, "Well," said, "if you can get down here, we'll hold it up for you." So we went charging down, and I showed Ned the letter. And then I had to get back out to the base. By that time, I had to tell the rest of the people. And Goldberg went around to tell the radio stations and things like that of the news. So that was the start of getting the word of that the base was going to close.
So the Boeing recruiter was at San Jose State, and for some reason I had some class conflicts and I missed them. So I thought, well, I still want to take this interview. So I called the guy in San Francisco and I said, "I'm just graduating out of the aeronautics program." And he says, "Well, you come on up here." So he says, "Can you be here at 10 o'clock here on a Thursday or Friday?" So I drove up there up to San Francisco, took the interview with him. I told him what my background was. And so he says, "Okay, just wait here for a minute." Came back in about 10 minutes. So he says, "Okay, we're going to offer you a job in Seattle working at Renton," which I had no idea what Renton was, but, it was a job, so I was pretty happy. So I said, "What are we going to be working on?" He says, "Well, we're going to put you in manufacturing engineering on the existing program on the 727 and 707. So I says, "Well, what's the opportunities over on the SST?" Because Boeing was going to be building the SST. And he says, "No, you don't want to go into that program." So anyway, I graduated from college. Diane, my wife, and I packed up the car, moved up to Seattle, and I started working in manufacturing engineering or manufacturing production on the 727 and the 707. So my supervisor called me in and he says, "We've got some openings coming up in flight test over in Seattle." And he said, "This will be a good opportunity for you. So you need to take an interview with the manager and see, if you're going to qualify for the project." So there's some very senior engineers in my group also took the interview and said, "We don't want to go there." And I thought, well, I couldn't imagine why. But anyway, I took the interview. He says, "Okay, report to Seattle next Monday."
Oh, Dave came in and had the 2 little kids with him, I think, didn't he?
Well, they came in. I interviewed by myself, but then I brought my family.
I had a cute little boy and a little girl with him, and then we interviewed, and I guess at the time did we say, "Okay, you were going to be a..." And so I think the first instructions I told Dave, I said, "You're going to be the industrial development manager, find out everything you know, because I don't know much about it myself." And Dave kind of got the job as that, plus helping me be running the port. I mean, but it was initially And like I say, even with the state and all, there was no good organization as far as we know now of attempting to bring industry and jobs to Moses Lake.